I want you to watch very carefully the words of this Palestinian doctor who is asked about what is actually motivating the Palestinian cause. Have a watch of his words.
Is the Palestinian crisis a land dispute, in your opinion?
No, I don't think so at all. It's a religious issue, and I asked one. It's mainly when you see the whole Palestinian issue. Their problem is they don't want Jews to survive there. So if all Jews became Muslims one day, they will have no problem with that. So the issue with them is Jews. I asked one day a friend of mine, if all Jews converted to Islam in Israel, will you still have this fight and trouble? He said, of course not. I said to him, then this is not a problem of a land. It's a problem just because they are Jews. So, and when you listen to the Arab media, when you follow the Arab media, when you follow the people who are, it's all about a religious war against the Jews, and they wanted to take it further to apply the prophecies that Muslims will slaughter and kill every Jew in the world. This is one of the prophecies in some book called Al-Bukhari. It's not in the Quran, but it's in a book called Al-Bukhari that's well respected by many Muslims as a source of hadith book for the words of Prophet Muhammad. And there is this, what they dream about is to fulfill this prophecy of killing every Jew there. So the problem here is in my, it's not a view. When you listen to the mosques, when you listen to the sermons, when you see the media, how they incite hatred and violence against people just because they are Jews. So you will realize that it's not a land dispute.
And what if America pushes Israel to concede land and to establish?
This will encourage the jihadists more and more in their path. In fact, America should do the opposite. When the jihadists attacked America in September 11, they wanted to see these concessions happening. And if you showed them concessions, they will just attack you again. As when you were weak in 1998 and you didn't respond strongly enough against the attack on your embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, they attacked you again, and it was stronger. But when you went very hard on them, they haven't attacked you for years, and because they are afraid of you. So the jihadist mind is a different mind. You have to show them that what they want to achieve, they are getting the opposite. So if they are expecting you to do pressure on Israel, for example, to do concessions to them, then in fact you do the opposite of this, and this will give them a lesson. Don't attack us again, because we will not surrender to you, and we will do the opposite of what you want. So they feel they are losing, not gaining by their attacks. This is the message that you have to convey to them, and so to change their mind and to make them think twice before attacking you again or trying to attack you.
Wow, wow, wow. And this flies in the face, doesn't it, of what Western leaders and nations are doing right now, which is they're going to reward Hamas by recognizing a Palestinian state, doing precisely the opposite of his recommendation. Someone who actually knows the Palestinian mindset. Of course, they do October 7th, and then the Western leaders say, well, we're going to recognize Palestine. All you're doing is incentivizing them. But he's also revealing to us something that if we only opened our eyes, everyone would see this clearly. If we just listen to the words of what the Palestinian leaders and activists and creators of this whole ploy have said, then we would know this anyway. But we choose in the West to be in a state of denial about what they're actually about. Look at the words of Zuren Mohsen, who was a senior member of the Palestine Liberation Organization. 1977, he said, it's attributed to him, this quote, "The Palestinian people does not exist. The creation of a Palestinian state is only a means for continuing our struggle against the state of Israel for our Arab unity." Well, there you go. And this shouldn't come as a surprise to you, because anyone that studies the history will see that the Palestinian leaders, the first Arab leader of the Arabs in British Mandate Palestine, Hajj Amin al-Husseini, he wanted it to become part of southern Syria. They didn't care about or see themselves as part of a distinct national identity. This is what Mossab Hassan Youssef has been saying time and time again. Look at this map. This is a map of what would have happened if, God forbid, Israel would have lost in 1948. All the surrounding Arab countries would have had a chunk of the land. There would be no Palestinian state. They didn't care about that. And we know this is true because when Egypt and Jordan captured illegally, I might add, the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, as it should be known, and Gaza between 48 to 67, they didn't create an independent Palestinian state there. They illegally occupied them, controlled the land. For them, this is about religion. And if you don't understand that, you will not understand this conflict. But I say to you, dear viewer, even more than that, even more than just understanding this will allow you to understand who Israel's dealing with, it will also allow us to understand where the resolution to this will lie. Because you have to meet like with like. Israel's resolution, Israel's thinking, is that we have to justify ourselves in the eyes of international law and state our democratic, Western, secular values, all that kind of thing. That's shifting, but that mindset is never going to work with the Arab world, because for them, what's motivating them is religion, not nationalism. They want to see and they believe that Islam is destined to conquer the region and the world. And so we have to give them a theological answer, a religious justification for why we're in Israel. Goodness me, we have the slam dunk justification, but we just need to say it. And I actually would like to dare suggest to you that they would actually have a lot more time for that, because that's what's motivating them. The resolution to this conflict is for them to have a theological, religious adjustment, just as parts of the Christian world are starting to go through that adjustment. And we're seeing, particularly in the evangelical community, they're radically transforming their relationship with the Jews in Israel, because they've understood that actually, now the Jews have returned to the land, maybe they need to reevaluate things. They thought they were the new chosen people of God to bring his light to the world. The Jewish people were always meant to be that, and God never forsook his people. And this notion that God forsook them because of their sins, God states time and again in the Torah, even I exile you to the land of your enemies. Even when that happens, even if it's down to some sin or punishment, I will still not forsake you, and I will gather you in from the four corners of the earth. And Christians are starting to wake up to that. Some. The Muslim world needs to do the same, but for that to happen, we have to really confidently articulate to them that yes, we really, really are God's chosen nation. Chosen not to be for supremacy or all these things, chosen to be his light to the world, which makes the world essential, because what's the point of being a light if you don't have someone to receive the light? It's such a compliment to the nations of the world as well. God wishes his light to extend to all the nations and use the nation of Israel as his vessel through them being a nation that serves him in their land. And if we start explaining that to Muslims that say, no, God never forsook the nation of Israel, he really did assign this land to them, and you need to have a theological reevaluation, I think they'll have a lot more time for that. But as I said all along, you need to understand that this is not for them about nationalism, it's about theology. And so we actually created a documentary about the Islamic theology that drives the hatred of Israel. And we created a documentary about Iran and Iran's theological doctrines that motivate them to hate Israel and the West. You can watch the documentary by clicking on the link in the video description, and I'll show you a trailer to it now. The Islamic Republic of Iran. For over 4 decades, its leaders have stood defiantly, their voices thundering through Tehran's streets, chanting death to Israel and waging a relentless war on the West. But what fuels this fierce, unyielding hatred? Is it politics? A grab for regional power? Or something even more profound? A theology that casts Israel and the West as cosmic enemies in a divine battle for the end of days. In this JTV Plus documentary, we embark on a journey to unravel the apocalyptic beliefs at the core of Iran's revolution. We'll uncover the sacred Shia doctrines that prophesy a world reborn through chaos, where a hidden redeemer, the Mahdi, will rise to vanquish evil, with Israel and America as the ultimate foes. We'll dive deep into the mystical visions of a global Islamic order, where martyrdom and jihad pave the path to divine victory. We'll explore how these ancient beliefs shape Iran's every move, from its fiery rhetoric to its deadly proxy wars. From the revolutionary sermons of Ayatollah Khomeini, who ignited a nation, to the shadow wars of spies, cyber attacks, and missiles that have pushed the region to the brink. We'll trace the arc of a regime bent on reshaping history, and we'll reveal the climactic moment when Israel struck back with Operation Rising Lion. A daring, high-stakes operation that shook the world and redefined the conflict. This is not just a story of a nation, but of a creed that seeks to rewrite the future, a conflict that threatens to engulf us all. Join us as we expose the hidden truths behind what Iran sees as its sacred mission, its unrelenting rage, and the battle for our world's destiny. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.